Hello. Today I want to talk with you about how the Scheinman Institute is intensifying its work on arbitration. Consistent with the mission of the ILR School and the mission of the Scheinman Institute, our work on arbitration involves education, research, and assistance to parties who are engaged in a very practical level with the arbitration process. With regard to education, the founding of the Scheinman Institute stated as a key goal to train the next generation of neutrals. Now, as you've heard in my previous newsletter videos, one of the ways we're doing so is expanding our training efforts through the creation of a series of programs. The first in that sequence is a foundational course that'll run for 5 months for people that may be curious about arbitration or are actually considering entering the profession, but don't yet have a lot of experience with arbitration. That's to be followed by a more intensive, longer cohort program, extending the kind of program we've done before under the label of the Labor Arbitrator Development Program. The 5-month program will launch this January, and then the cohort will start the following summer. With regard to research, our faculty have been leaders in the study of arbitration. Of course, our dean, Alex Colvin, was really path-breaking in his analysis and then the critiques he's offered about mandatory arbitration. In addition, other faculty have continued to do research on arbitration. A number of our PhD students, including Mark Goff, have made important contribution. I've been involved in some of that research as we continue to try and understand the impacts of arbitration, for example, how arbitrated outcomes differ compared to outcomes from cases that proceed through the court system. In any case, we're continuing a variety of research projects associated with arbitration. And last but not least, we at the Institute provide assistance to parties who are engaged in arbitration, either parties bringing cases, the advocates who represent individuals, and others involved in the arbitration process or involved in developing the public policies that regulate arbitration, or the private policies that also concern arbitration through collective bargaining and all. Now, what we're discussing, that's part of what I want to convey through this message, is we're seriously considering ways to focus on that last set of issues. How practitioners involved in arbitration can stay up with all the changes occurring, with the pressures being focused on arbitration. We're thinking of ways to further our engagement. Of course, in the past we've had conferences, as we did with the AAA last year, about the evolution of ADR, but we want to do more than that. And we're currently discussing different options. I hope in subsequent newsletters and other correspondence, we'll be able to describe more fully what we're going to do on that dimension. Active discussion is underway. We're considering a number of alternatives, and I think you'll be interested and maybe even surprised by our intensification of efforts to help parties directly engaged in arbitration, whether that be traditional labor arbitration or employment arbitration. So stay tuned.